So I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm out at the Collective Studios in Westgate. Massive thank you to Ethan and Chris for letting me hang out in this space. Real cool studio setup out here, awesome lighting, tons of space, real cool photo studio. Yeah, so thanks guys for letting me hang out with you. I want to take a moment to talk about a real special lens that Canon New Zealand has sent out to me. One of their 100-300 RF lenses, absolute monster. 2.8 lens. I've had this connected to my R3 for a full weekend of shooting at D1NZ in Manfield, which was awesome. So I got a little bit of feedback on that, how the lens performed, and a little bit of an insight into what I've been doing. All right. So this is the Canon RF100-300 2.8. Man, this thing's crazy. Absolute monster. Designed from the ground up for the RF system. Absolutely everything you would expect from a professional grade lens like this. I mean, this thing comes in at just shy of $20,000. So I feel incredibly thankful to Canon New Zealand for letting me hold on to one for 3 weeks and really put it through its paces. I've had this connected up, like I said before, to my R3, shooting a little bit of D1NZ and just seeing where the limits are of this sort of lens. I guess firstly, the focal length is perfect for what I do. I shoot a lot of motorsport, drifting events and that sort of thing, and like to throw a few shots of people in there here and there, hits in the paddock and that sort of thing. It's cool to be able to incorporate all the goings on behind the scenes, and this focal length covers that perfectly. When it comes to subjects like people, it's perfect for blowing out the background, really isolating the subject. So this has been awesome to use. The autofocus on this thing is incredibly quick. Everything you would expect for a professional lens of this caliber. Incredibly fast, precise, and quiet. This has got 2 USM motors in it, super quick, blazing fast for anything from people to the motorsport side of things. Obviously cars are moving quickly, and connected to a system like the R3, the experience with this thing was awesome. Up until now, I've been shooting on a range of EF glass. Canon have a really great adapter to adopt older lenses onto the new RF system. That works really, really well. The autofocus, the speed, it's incredibly quick. Probably faster than it is natively on DSLR systems. So that's been awesome. To shoot with a native RF lens of this sort of caliber has been fantastic. It's completely changed the way that I see this system, and you can really feel the development and hardware that's gone into making sure it works properly. I've been shooting with Canon systems for about 15 years now. I've always used their DSLR system, which has been fantastic. When I bought this R3, I was so surprised at the leap in performance that this thing provides. It's an incredible system. I never thought that the jump would be so big, particularly with the autofocus, subject tracking, things like that. The main limitations I found with this lens, at least for me and the type of work that I do, is you're working with giant mirrors, so CPL filters are an absolute necessity. This lens, while it has a threaded front element, it's huge. It's 112 millimeters, which is massive. So to buy a CPL that big, you'd be lucky to get one any less than $300, $400. I'm not going to go putting a cheap CPL on the front of a $20,000 lens. You pay for this amazing quality, so there's no point in putting cheap glass in front of that just to degrade the sharpness and all of that comes with it. So I'd love to see a drop-in filter adapter or something like that for the RF system for lenses of this size. I don't know whether further up the range they include this sort of thing, but it would be great to see on something like this. It would be great to be able to put ND filters, CPLs, that sort of thing, right on the body side of the camera, so you're not struggling to rotate a filter, which is hidden behind this enormous lens hood. So I'd love to see that. It would be perfect for someone like me that does a lot of motorsport photography. Cars are giant mirrors, so reflection is a real problem. I also see this carrying over into other forms of photography too. If you shoot landscapes with scenic environments, reflection on water, that sort of thing, I can see that being really valuable. So to not have an option like this when you're spending $20,000 on something like that is kind of crazy to me. It might be something that we see later on, and I really hope it is. but that's quite a big thing for me. It doesn't limit the results as such, it's just this reflection that I want to cut out and just slightly unsightly things that I'd love to remove from the images. Minor niggle in the grand scheme of things. This is an incredible lens, super sharp, does everything it says on the tin, and everything you would expect for a lens of this sort of value. And the way it performs on the RF system, particularly with my R3, I couldn't be happier. So hopefully one day I can actually add it to my own kit. I'd love to couple this with something like a 24-105 f2.8. I think that would be the perfect focal length coverage for most motorsport photographers, at least speaking for me. Right now I'm just shooting with my R3 and a couple of adapted EF lenses, so the tried and true 70-200 f2.8 and a 24-70 2.8, which is what I'm shooting this on. That covers me for all bases. So to be able to jump into this focal length at 100-300, again with a 24-105, I get that slight bit of crossover, can shoot with two bodies, I'm sorted for everything I want. So incredible lens, absolutely loved it. Thanks again to Canon New Zealand for sending it out and letting me have a go with it. I feel really lucky to be able to play with a lens of this sort of value. I think it's probably the most expensive lens I've ever been able to play with, and it's been really cool to experience something of this sort of level. So yeah, thanks again Canon. I will put some photos that I've taken with this lens at the end of this video so you can see sort of what the results were like. I'm really happy with the takeaways that I've had from last weekend and what this lens has been able to provide for me. It's been really impressive. The feedback on the work has been incredible as well, so thank you for everyone who has been taking the time to share my work, post comments and all of that. That means a lot to me. I put a lot of time and energy into my work, so that's really cool to have it received like that, so thanks everyone. Yeah, so check out these photos, have a look, see what you think, let me know what you think. If you have any questions about my setup or the way that I have my camera custom functions done, I can only really speak to the R3 and the systems on that, but I imagine a lot of the custom settings cross over into like your R5, your R6, and further down the range there too. Not 100% sure on that, but if there's anything that you can take away from the way that I have mine set up for motorsport, hopefully you can take that and apply it to your system and whatever you're using. So let me know if that's something that interests you. I can do a bit of a walkthrough on how I have my custom functions set up, custom buttons, the way that I operate my camera, and make sure that I have everything as snappy and as quick as possible to make sure I'm not missing those moments. They disappear really quick. Sometimes they can be gone as soon as you notice them. That's the thing about photography, is everything's always changing and moments are very temporary. So being fast and accurate, being able to capture those when they're happening is super important. This is the last weekend that I'm going to have this lens. I have one more project to do with it, which I'm super excited about. I can't really talk about what it is yet, but I'm looking at doing some behind the scenes stuff, a little bit of an insight into the gear that I'm taking, how I kind of work. So hopefully I can provide some value to you guys when I'm able to share that content. Super excited to be able to work with some really great people on this cool project. Excited to share the details. Hopefully some behind the scenes and just some more badass content. Yeah, so one more project with this lens. It'll see out my trial, and I'm looking forward to getting some more cool stuff with it. So thanks again for your support. Thanks for following what I'm doing. All the likes, shares, all of that means a lot. Thanks for watching, team.